So PAE stands for Programmable Atom Equivalent. This is not a material that we developed or invented here. It's actually developed and invented while I was a graduate student as part of my PhD thesis. So a PAE is the same sort of idea as an NCT. It's a nanoparticle coated with some sort of polymer. The key wrinkle here is that the polymer is DNA, the thing that normally we think of as in our cell that makes us, that programs who we are. The nice thing about DNA is it's a polymer consisting of a series of basically units that are put together in a very specific sequence. And based on what that sequence actually is, different DNA strands will recognize and bind to one another. So if you have a specific letter sequence of these things called nucleobases along a DNA strand, another DNA strand has a complementary sequence. When they find each other, they will zip up into a nice helix structure. By grafting those synthetic DNA strands onto the surface of a particle, if two particles have those complementary sequences, when that helix forms, now those particles are grafted together and the DNA basically zips them up. The advantage of that is DNA is way more programmable and precise and understood in its interactions compared to virtually anything else out there. There may be other types of self-assembly methods that are more complex, that are more versatile, that are maybe easier or cheaper to work with, but DNA is bar none the best assembly tool we have because it is so programmable and so precise. If I know what the DNA sequences are, I know exactly how those particles are going to behave every single time. And so the challenge with these PAEs is that because those synthetic DNA strands are a little bit more expensive, we think about them in applications where we need a very specific, very precise, controlled, perfect structure. We just don't need massive kilograms of it. So examples would be if we can self-assemble these structures onto a surface. We can make tiny little objects that have not only organized arrays of particles, so the lattice of particles, how the particles are organized is dictated, but the actual shape of it is dictated as well. So one of the key innovations we've shown is that if we control the assembly and processing of these materials, we can make microstructures that have well-defined faceted shapes. And so the advantage of that is a lot of, for example, optical properties require a specific angle of interaction or a specific shape of interaction so you can bounce light off of something at a controlled angle. If we have a self-assembled material that always makes a pre-programmed shape, then all we have to say is, okay, well, I want this as a material to assemble right here, and it's going to make this particular shape, and then I know exactly what my component is going to be. That means that I can do that 1,000,000 times over across an entire wafer all at once, instead of having to come in and program each and every one and write them all individually. So the PAEs offer unparalleled precision and programmability in terms of what the actual structure is, and I can fabricate them, 1,000,000 of them at once, as opposed to having to do each one individually. So there are specific niche applications for that, but in those applications, there's simply nothing like them.